All right, team. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome aboard to our weekly recap. I haven't done one in the past couple of weeks just for the fact that things kept changing so quickly. Anything that I would record would be pretty much changed overnight, quite literally. So it kind of felt rather redundant to do so. But on the Discord, we were prepped this past week, of course. So we'll go over our results. We went ahead and posted an article on our website regarding that. If you are interested in taking a look at those articles, here's our website, www.gar.capital. We have our trade recap there from the 14th through the 18th if you are interested in that read. And that is for everybody. Okay, quickly, let's go over what we're looking at the moment. We got the Dow futures down 2 points. It was green at the open at 6 p.m. So we are now coming into the Tokyo Open, 8 p.m. I don't know if that's going to change in terms of daylight savings that's coming up near the end of October, but I will definitely make sure. Nasdaq is barely holding on to green. Let's take a look at S&P 500 futures, since S&P futures is the kind of the main uh, futures contract that we trade other than gold. So we'll go over gold for sure tonight. Let's take a look at S&P futures. You can see these green arrows. These are indications for the screen and for the screenshots that I do. This is the 200 moving average, the 200 MA, but this is the 1 hour candle chart, 20 days. And you can see that's been kind of resistance now, really since the drop from the called the tariff tantrum of 2 Fridays ago. And we went ahead and drew Fibonacci retracement levels to retrace back up here to 6801. We have yet to break, really sustained a break above the 78.6 fib. So what we want to do here is have confirmation before we do anything on S&P in terms of going long. As long as we stay above 66.70, that's the 50% retrace level of, again, the 2 Fridays ago tariff tantrum tweet, we'll call it, even though it was on True Social. Let's clear this 200 MA first. 67.40 to me would confirm. The only concern, obviously, is 67.45 being a hard stop. So we'll use 67.45 as our price to go in. We won't do a limit order, but 67.40 will be our alert. We'll probably do a signal for 67.45 for continued upside to target 68.01. That's a pretty good return if we can kind of clear this in one trade, is 55 points. So that's what I'm looking for if earnings become strong, especially in the tech side. Let's take a look at gold. And gold is something I talked about on our watches and charts this week. I'm looking for gold to pull back. We played gold short, gold puts, GLD puts with Masterclass, and that actually had to be a quick trade. Let's see it here. Yeah, we got out for like 15%. These are the GLD puts that we sent 12:27 p.m. Again, a little bit on the pricier side. This is why I didn't send it out to everyone else. I do have these HIMS calls still. They're not expired yet, but I got hit on Friday on those. You can see the breakdown here. Again, this trend line, this is when we actually sent it out, 12:34. We got as high or best return of 21%. But anyone who's been with our service now for a little bit, at least let's just say for the last couple of months, when it comes to puts, you have to get out same day in this bull market. So they get bought up pretty quickly. That's why I tend to do gold futures instead. And that's what we did. We did gold futures on the short side as well. So we went ahead and hit TP2, 20 points. I was happy to clip it at the bottom. We did it with TOS and we did it with Robinhood. Great returns there on that gold short. And we were really patient on that. After the fact, we went ahead and hit S&P long, 67.05, and I think we got TP1. Futures trading this week was absolutely excellent. 5 for 5, perfect week. And actually perfect time to do it because that was on Friday, our 11th anniversary of GAR Capital. So happy birthday, GAR Capital. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I just got this notification from YouTube. Our YouTube channel is 10 years old. Imagine that. So if you've been watching that long, thank you so much for being part of this journey. But futures was great this week. I do expect gold to continue to pull back further. Let's wait for 42.17 as an alert. Then right around 42.10, we can go ahead and short all the way to the lows, at least to break at 41.95. So I do expect the dollar to pull back. It is way overbought and way too hot. You could see how much it has soared really since what, a week ago? It was at 39.88. 4,000 was like a huge psychological barrier to break. We sliced that thing to the upside like a rocket. Had a couple of times where we dropped down, where it's very difficult to trade. Some of our futures members may not be the biggest fans of patience, but you can't argue the results. So we just have to stay that way. And you can see this upward trend line has broken. Yes, we went ahead and kind of overshot to the downside, probably some take profit levels. I know that was near our TP2 on gold. And then we got the little bounce. So I do expect a little more of a pullback. Kind of your pivot level really to watch for is 42.57 on the December contracts on gold. So gold is something I will be watching very, very closely this week. Speaking of what to watch for this week, got a lot of earnings. Let's take a look at them. We got Coca-Cola on Tuesday. Can't say I trade them very much. General Motors reports on Tuesday. Now, let me go ahead and fix that. I said that they don't report on Tuesday. Let me fix that. I knew I saw it there. Reports on Tuesday. They report on Tuesday. On Tuesday. But had... Okay, I had to fix that. I thought they were already reported because I see here in October there was some kind of announcement of some kind, but that is not the date of the earnings yet. So earnings will be on Tuesday based on this earnings calendar. See General Motors right there. But General Motors is part of our watch list. Netflix I'm watching as well. Tesla, of course, IBM, and there was Intel, American Airlines. Ford, I really don't trade often, neither Procter and Gamble either. So let's kind of take a look at a couple of names, but the rest are on the watch list. So gold we went over. AAL is Thursday pre-market. Remember we talked about the 200-day moving average or 200 MA on the 1 hour on S&P, how that was hard resistance. Well, this is on the daily, and you can see how this has been rejecting. The last time we played AAL, I believe it was for calls ahead of earnings, and it didn't work out in our favor. So I'm going to be a little patient on this one. General Motors I was talking about, I expect that to bounce. Nice trend line support so far. Break above 62. I would definitely want to do calls there. AT&T looks like it seems ready to break down. Below 25, we do have a gap to fill at 22.82. Silver kind of the same spot as gold. That's what I've been looking at as well. So I can say that I'm a little more interested in shorting gold rather than silver. Now let's take a look at the big boys that are reporting this week. We'll take a look at Netflix, Tesla, Intel, and IBM together. And it is on the watch list, so not like we're going to miss anything. In terms of anything to do at the moment, again, in terms of futures, I just want to reiterate the point of the 200 MA as resistance. 67.40 is our first alert. In terms of downside alerts, 66.70 is the downside level I have. If you want to place an alert there, that's fine. But since we're kind of in the midpoint between those two alerts, I don't expect much action tonight. Probably a little more chop. In terms of something tradable, yes, I think gold will definitely be something that could be interesting. Sure. I'll put 42.25 as kind of my wake up alert for now. If there's something juicy, I definitely will trade it, even if it's in the Asia session. But I don't expect much at this very moment. I say that and then watch gold collapse, So futures traders, if there's something to trade, I will definitely take a look at it. So gold would be in my highest priority bucket, let's just say. Oh, Netflix. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at Netflix here. 1034 downside. You could see this upward trend line broke once. Could it break again? Possibly. If it does, 1108. That is your 200-day support. We haven't been below there really all year. So I may have to place an alert at 1111. Good number. Right around there. And that'll probably be your buy zone. We're probably not going to get a better discount than that. If the trends hold up here, keep in mind, guys, seasonally Q4 is bullish. Stocks bottom in October. So whatever dip we're going to get, it's going to get bought. So the only thing I can really honestly say that I'm really interested in shorting is gold, not stocks. I think stocks, yes, are expensive, sure. but the seasonal tailwinds are in our favor as November looms, and it's going to be great. November historically is very, very solid. So on Netflix, I did put a different price in terms of our watch list. I placed there. If it breaks 1108, we need to go to 1000. But see this trend line here? If it breaks 1108. But again, we haven't been below the 200-day moving average pretty much all year. So if we get there, I think it's a buy. Netflix is a great company to own. Let's see. What else did I have? Intel. Intel, I believe, is on Thursday after the bell. This one, we still need 40. 40 needs to break. If it does, then we definitely have a breakout candidate to 43.54. The only concern I have, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here to the monthly chart. Do you see this trend line here? We still haven't broken it. And again, this is a longer term trend line. This could be good or bad news. It depends on your perspective. If you look at the monthly chart, you got your left shoulder, you have your head, you have your right shoulder setting up. So Intel, I still think it's tradable. I don't think it's investable, in my opinion, yet. Um, Anything can change on this front. Let's see what their conference call or their guidance has to say. But in order for, in my opinion, to recommend buying it, you'd have to clear at least 45. But to trade it, I think 40 to 45. If you break 40, Intel's fine. And we've traded it before, so it's not like it's anything new. Tesla. I think this is probably the most sought after name, the one that everyone wants to trade on earnings. Just be careful. I would not trade pre-earnings. You might get smoked on the premiums, meaning that the premium would fall based on the implied volatility in price. It's a little elevated ahead of earnings. You may not get that much demand, especially if it's choppy. So that's the one thing you don't want when it comes to earnings is a choppy price action. The good news is it is above the 20-day. If you get above 455, then you really have to go over the 500 calls pretty much till the end of the year. This is probably going to be the most important earnings call and guidance for them. I expect it personally to be a little more optimistic and rosy, especially as we get into a seasonally strong equity November and December. I do fully expect a Santa rally, unless the guidance is absolutely weak and the sales are terrible, and the sales haven't been that great for Tesla. So any kind of optimism, I believe there's a little bit of negative, I guess, expectation from Tesla since they are a consumer discretionary. You don't need a Tesla to survive. That would be like consumer staples, General Mills, Procter and Gamble, that sort of thing. You need razor blades, cereal to still survive, in a sense. Electric cars are still kind of a luxury niche type, but you have to look at Tesla as a tech company that makes cars, not a car company that makes tech. So if you look at it that way, valuations make sense, momentum makes sense, buying makes sense, sure. But this is going to be the most important one. So I'll say it breaks 455. If it does, then price target to 500, possibly by the end of the year. I'd hate to say for sure because we may just kind of hang around 475, 480 for a minute. Depends. A lot of factors out there. A rate cut this month would be great. Again, there's no guarantee there. If it is, then Tesla will definitely benefit since people who want to borrow money for a Tesla would make it more affordable with lower rates. Let's see here. Got one more. IBM. I think this one is really set to go. Just needs to get above 300. Just thinking here that above the 20-day, that if we get above 290, we can trade the 300 calls or just break above 300. I need to keep an eye on the options volume on IBM, and we'll see if we can catch something there. We're starting to look at S&P, again, rejecting that 200 MA, looking at 6,700 at the moment. Gold is giving up some gains at the moment as well. Again, we'll put 42.2025 as our alert moving forward. So we got a lot on our plate. Let's take a look at the actual earnings calendar. I mean, the actual calendar for macro. Here's the problem. The government is still shut down. So all of this could be not even placed here. We're still owed a jobs number. We're still owed PPI. So now we're supposed to have a CPI number on Friday. But again, all of this is subject to delay, revision, or cancellation. So rather redundant to keep talking about, any kind of data when we don't have any. So at least we have earnings season, and with earnings season, all you can do is focus on the price action. That seems to be the best thing at the moment. The only concern, as always, is headlines, and there's not really anything you can do to really change that. There's nothing you can really think about other than just focusing on the price action, the technicals, and letting price be our guide. And if we do that, I think we're going to be just fine. So with that being said, let's make it a great week. Let's make some money, obviously. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, ready to trade. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening. I will catch you tomorrow. Cheers all.